So you know how Jamie refuses to be on camera like ever again?
And he's refused to be on our podcast.
But like I was like, I figure like this is the Grant episode. I got to get something from him. This is what I got from Jamie. Hi, Kari. I got your text responding here because it's a lot to write, but you can read this on your podcast with best regards to your audience. Maybe it'll add a little variety to you and Tory that you can do the Jamie mustache mimicking thing with your hand hanging down over your mouth for a laugh.
He actually put that in his letter?
Welcome, MythFits.
Hey there, what's up, MythFits? Thanks for tuning in to another episode. Tory, what have you been up to? You got any new fun stuff going on?
I'm still working on what we're going to be for Halloween. So I have a new idea. It's from Aliens 2. I'm going to get my daughter all dirty. She's going to be Newt. My wife will be Ripley and I'll be the alien.
Yes.
Right now, that's kind of where, I don't know.
Like
that's a lot of work, though.
Wait, you're going to go full alien.
I don't know. We'll see.
That's a lot. I mean, you could always do that one where like the alien's bursting out of you. That's a good one.
Yeah, but like when my daughter gets dirty, she looks like Newt, and we call her Newt.
She won't be scared of you dressed as an alien?
You know what? She does not have... like her fear level or her tolerance for scary things is pretty high. Like she doesn't get scared because, around my shop, there's like severed heads and there's all this, like, it was funny. I have a severed head of myself that I did for this movie that has not come out yet. It was like 10 years ago. I made this head
I remember
for this movie. And in the movie, I get my head ripped off. And so now I have this, severed head of myself. And when my daughter sees it, she gets it and cuddles it, and she's like, "Sleeping daddy, sleeping daddy." So, yeah, she's not freaked out by the gore. She's not freaked out.
Some children have teddy bears.
Mine has a severed head of her father.
I remember my daughter used to walk around with this Barbie with no head on it. That was like her favorite for a while. And I think she just loved the reaction from people that was sort of like she was a little Wednesday Addams. She just loved messing with people. So maybe our kids have got our weirdness. It's definitely a gene we've passed on.
Dude, your family and dolls, there's something weird there. I don't know what it is.
I think it's generational trauma. It really is. And clearly the weird gene passes on to our children because both of our children are just... They really are bad seed, cutie little girls. Tory, you know what's coming up? It's about to be your birthday.
I know. You know what's crazy? It's always around this time. It makes me think of Grant because we were born the same year and a week apart. And so his birthday came on the 23rd. Mine was on the 30th. So there was a week where I would rub it in his face that he was older than me. It was just like, it was like he would have his birthday and then all week I'd be like, "Bro, you're so old, dude. You are so old."
You remember we used to get those awesome ice cream cakes from Byright that were like
yes.
really, really delicious ice cream for everybody's birthday? I was always excited for birthday time.
That was Lauren's idea. Lauren was one of our directors and she was the best. She would always think of, where's the best place to go to lunch? Where's the best place for dinner? Whenever we'd go on location, usually we'd be in a really crappy, out of the way place. And she would like find a hotel, the nicest hotel in town. And then we'd go to some amazing restaurant.
Yeah, man. Birthday week with you and Grant was like two cakes.
That's right.
Which is why I'm kind of excited about this episode. I'm obviously wearing my original MythFits t-shirt with you, me, and Grant on it. Yeah, this is when we first coined the name MythFits because we always hated Build Team or B Team or Myth Turns or whatever weird thing they came up with. And I used to campaign for this, but for our first convention, we weren't allowed to use the MythBusters logo. So we designed our own MythBusters t-shirts. And I was like, oh yeah, MythFits. My original design had Grant looking a little more like with the 3 little long strings of hair in front of his head. But I was afraid we'd get sued for copyright infringement.
By the actual Misfits?
I heard they were litigious.
Whoa, so, I haven't seen that shirt in forever. That was for Dragon Con.
Was it Dragon Con?
That shirt. Yeah.
Anyway, this is going to be the Grant birthday episode, so we will be celebrating after we get through all these ads. I don't know about you guys, but for me, the holidays always sneak up on me. I'm very busy. I'm not one of those people that the day Thanksgiving's over start shopping. I mean, I have relatives that start shopping in the summertime for Christmas. That is not me. But this year, I'm going to be ready. I actually am a little bit ahead of the game. That's all thanks to Uncommon Goods. This isn't just another gift site. It's a game changer for finding fun presents that actually make people say, like, wow, where did you get this? There's some people I just have a hard time finding gifts for. Like, I know what my friends want, but I don't know what my friends' kids want. So, like, there's this Candy of the World advent calendar I'm getting this year. I mean, what kid doesn't like candy? And personally, I love advent calendars. Well, I might actually keep this one for myself. No, okay. I'll give it to them. But honestly, like, it's a fun gift to give. And I mean, every single day there's a new piece of candy from a new place in the world. Like, it's just a perfect gift to give, like, my friend's kid. Like, I don't know what they're into. They're constantly growing. They have everything. Their parents buy them everything. So this is something that Auntie Kari can give them. So I'm already prepared in this arena, and it just took a lot of stress off of me. So I don't have to, like, go shopping and constantly text them, like, what are they into right now? What are they not getting for Christmas? So Uncommon Goods has something for literally everyone, from like moms to dads to book lovers, foodies, avid gardeners, just everybody. Thousands of really, really unique gifts that you won't find anywhere else. So here's what I love most, is you are supporting artists and small independent businesses. I mean, many of the products are handcrafted in really small batches, and they're going to be the best finds, and they're going to sell out fast. So shop early, have fun, and cross some names off your list today. And to get 15% off your next gift, go to uncommongoods.com/mythfits. That's uncommongoods.com/mythfits for 15% off. Don't miss out on this limited time offer. Uncommon Goods. We're all out of the ordinary.
Welcome back, MythFits. We have a special episode for you today. This is the Grant Imahara appreciation episode.
Yeah, to celebrate his birthday. I mean, since we started this podcast, it always felt like something was a little missing. I mean, the fans all have been just, they really miss Grant, and we miss Grant. And he was always the part of our little triangle that, we didn't want it to be a sad event that he's not with us. So we decided we were going to celebrate his birthday. We're going to tell stories we remember of him, and bring a bunch of people on who loved him, who have stories about him, people that were close to him, friends he had from before MythBusters, and friends he had on MythBusters. So this is a very special Grant Imahara episode.
It's a celebration of his life. And you know what? I remember the first time I met Grant, it was when we were working at Industrial Light and Magic. It was my first job there. We were working on the movie Starship Trooper, and he was in the laser cutting room, and he would always wear a white lab coat. And so we used to call him Dr. Imahara, because it was so funny. He took it so serious, and he was just, he's an electrical engineer. And so he was very, very on, top of his game. And he did all the electrical, all the lighting for the models. And so it was episode 1 that we got really close. We had just finished building the Federation battleship, and he'd done all the lighting. And so for the first couple of weeks, we were out there together in the dark, babysitting this giant model. And, we just spent hours and hours together in the dark, because they would, light the set, and everything else would be complete pitch black. And that's where I really got to know Grant.
Dude, I'm sorry, but every kid out there that grew up with Star Wars is having like a nerdgasm right now. Like, what? Like, the coolest job in the world. He goes to school for electrical engineering and does the lights on the spaceship. Like, the two of you were creating models. Like, you grew up with Star Wars, so working on that must have just been just a dream come true
Oh,
for both of you.
totally. I mean, like I still look back and go, did that really happen?
I mean, I love looking at the old pictures of you guys working on those ships. I've seen so many behind the scenes things because, Industrial Light and Magic. I mean, that was just the pinnacle of career that I could imagine growing up.
It was the Holy Grail. It was
yes!
and the funny thing is I applied so many times and I would just get denied. And, I was applying, they had this internship that you would go there over the summer and work in the model shop. At the time, it was the Creature Shop. But I applied every year and got denied every year. And I have all these denied letters. And it wasn't until I had a friend that I was working at another model shop with, and he knew somebody at ILM. And so we went up there together and I showed him my portfolio. And this guy, my friend, just basically was selling me. I didn't even say anything. He's like, oh, he's so good. He does this. And that's how I got in. It was like, now I got to actually make models. I'm scared.
That actually, I feel, I don't remember ever hearing that story that you actually got denied. I just kind of always assumed they're like, Tory Malachi, come on in. Because
No.
I applied there and couldn't even get a receptionist job. So I ended up getting the job with Jamie and was like, okay, well, maybe this is how we'll get into this industry that soon died shortly after that. But Grant and you were who I wanted to be when I grew up. I remember the first time Grant came into Jamie's shop. He was doing some work for him on a commercial that we were filming.
Right.
He
used to like moonlight. Like after he was done working at the shop in San Rafael, he would come down to San Francisco and go work with Jamie.
Yeah, I believe the very first time I met him, because I remember the time, but I think what we were working on is we were doing a commercial for GE, and it was GE Robotics. Mm-hmm. So we were making these kit bashing these big, giant, fake robots that were supposed to be assembly line robots, but they were, they were people, they look like puppets, big robot puppets. And Grant was doing a bunch of electrical work and light up work and that kind of thing. And he was he was like the first version of Grant that I knew, white collared shirt, which I don't know how he never got that dirty. It was amazing. Right. And he had he was growing a mustache that was, it was ambitious. There was not a lot of hair there. It was it was the sweetest dirt stash. And it was the non-TV version of Grant. He was at his nerdiest best.
He had a little chin fur as well. He was
glasses and his teeth weren't perfect. And I remember when we were changing over to become the build team and Scotty left and we were trying to pick who was going to be our, be the next host with us. And, I had met Grant when he was working on that. And I just I was just so charmed by him because he was just like, oh, let me show you all my robots and everything I've ever worked on. He had a portfolio with him. He was so excited to tell me everything. And I just thought he was so kind and sweet. So when we were trying to, run auditions for new people, we had a bunch of random people come in, but from the get, you and me were Team Grant.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, we knew him from working with him before, so we knew he was going to be a good fit. And I remember when he went in for his interview, they were like, how would you test stopping a bullet with your teeth? That was their, here's the problem. How would you go about solving it? And it was based on his answer, which we actually ended up using in the episode of catching a bullet with your teeth. And that's kind of what got him the job.
Do you remember so we were sold on him because we loved him and we didn't care about casting. But, at this point, they're starting to get a little TV. They're getting a little production.
Oh, yeah.
And they were
like, this is going.
I love when Grant would tell this story. I miss him telling this story. But they were like, is there any way we could give him a makeover? Right. Could we maybe, cool him up a little bit? And Grant's like, okay, well, what? What do I do? What do you need? What do you mean? Can you give me an example? So they're like, can you be more like this? And they sent him a picture of Brad Pitt and Colin Farrell.
Yes. Can you be more like these guys? Go.
What kind of makeover is going to make you these guys?
Oh my God.
And then the producer actually came to his defense. He's like, they said, you wanted the nerd.
Yeah.
You're getting the nerd.
This is the nerd you picked.
This is the nerd you've been looking for.
But you know what's funny is towards the end of MythBusters, he kind of started transforming into those pictures. Like he had the spiky hair. He was wearing the black shirt with the motorcycle jacket.
He got his teeth fixed all perfect, like that perfect smile.
Yes.
I mean, he was getting health conscious. He was working out. So like Grant 2.0 definitely got a little more slick. I liked it.
That's funny. You know, I don't know if a lot of people know this, but he used to dress up in the 3PO outfit for Star Wars appearances because he was the only one that could fit in that suit. But I remember whenever it was coming up to time to go do an appearance, he would start drinking these protein shakes, those diet drinks, because he needed to lose the weight quickly in order to fit in. So we'd be like, oh, come on, we're going to lunch. And he's like, I can't. I got an appearance coming up. And you'd just be drinking his little chocolate diet shake.
So he could get inside the 3PO costume. So awesome. That was also probably a dream for him. Well, we've got like, you and I have like a million Granty stories that we'll probably keep telling through this podcast throughout the years as long as we're podcasting. But what's really fun is we've gathered some video from some of his friends. So we're going to let some other people tell their Granty memories. We're going to bring back, I think first up, we're bringing back Matty Cordova. He was our runner, our PA, and he's going to tell us a Grant memory.
Yeah, something that I remember that most people wouldn't know watching the show is that Grant was basically our on-set caretaker. He was just always so cognizant of everybody's individual needs, almost like on a daily basis. I can remember all through Kari's pregnancy, he was basically like a on-set doula for her. He was just always making sure that mostly me, had the things that she needed out on location, had all the food and, all the things that she needed. And I could tell Kari really, really appreciated having him there as an ally. Even I remember, Al, our sound recordist, had, hurt her foot, and it was not Grant's job to check in with me, the runner, to see if I have all the right things for Al, an extra seat for her, all these things. And he just did it because you could tell it was coming from a place of friendship and like true care. And I think everybody was better off having him around. The last thing that sticks with me like physically is the company Leatherman. They gave all the crew members a multi-tool one year. We all got to just pick which one we wanted. And so we all were checking out our new tools. And I remember Grant could see that I was like pretty excited about mine because it's like the free stuff. I was like 25 years old. But he's like, hey, Matt, you want to use one of my tools to engrave your name on your Leatherman? And I was like, like Grant is offering me, an imbecile, to use one of his tools. And basically no oversight. I was like, yeah, you want to show me how to do it? He's like, no, you can figure it out. You just turn it on and just, etch your name into your Leatherman.
That is hilarious.
And so there's my,
wow.
I don't know if you can see right there. Dova was what they called me. And it's very poorly done. Like my D is all squiggly. But Grant, like the beautiful man he was, I showed him when I got back in. He's like, great job. Because he's too sweet to tell me that I look like I was like riding in the back of a safari mobile or something while I was doing it. But
oh man, that's
every time I use this, I feel like I've got Grant's ingenuity behind me, so I can blame it on him when I screw it all up. Happy birthday, Grant. Love you, buddy.
I can't believe he let Matt use his tools. Do you remember how organized his toolbox was? Like everything was labeled. There was like a little outline of each tool so that you knew exactly where to put it down because everything was just meticulous about his toolbox. And I remember the one thing that he hated the most that I borrowed was his Sharpies. Because I'm a hard writer, like, and I would always squish the tip of his Sharpies, and he would take it back, and he'd be like, damn it, Kari, you squished my tip. He started writing his name on his Sharpies so I wouldn't take them.
Yes, whenever we'd be on like those conventions and we'd be signing autographs, you would just destroy the tip. You would just like press down and you just like, Kari, you ruined my tip. Well, you know why everybody used to put their names on their tools? Because when we were working on other jobs, people would just accidentally, their tools would end up, your tools would end up in their toolbox. In fact, hold on one second. I got to show you a couple of things. This I just found out. This was completely unintentional, but hold on one second. So I was going through my shop the other day and I was like cleaning up tools, and all of a sudden I noticed I have this wrench. And then I looked closely at the wrench and it's Grant's wrench. I don't know how it's in my shop. You see it?
Oh, your wrench says Grant.
So I honestly don't know how I have Grant's wrench in my toolbox, but anyway. See, these things happen, and that's why we put our names on them.
Well, you know, sometimes Grant Imahara wore some really fun outfits. In fact, I believe our next video is from one of his old friends that he worked with from when he did a fun little shoot. I hope she talks about it. This is Bonnie.
I started working at Lucasfilm, I think, around 2002, 2003. And I met Grant the first night at this, it was like a kind of an old-timey Western, like, themed hotel in Los Angeles, and I met him, and it was Grant I like to call him Grant 1.0.
Yeah, me too.
Because it was pre-MythBusters, so he had like his like really thick glasses and like, you know, the pocket protector and the Sharpie, like a collared shirt. Oh my God. So we got to know each other really well in that time, and we instantly clicked, instantly had a friendship. Like we just came from we had similar interests, similar backgrounds, and I'm a crafty person. I always made stuff, and he always tinkered and made stuff, and we loved robots. So we got along like crazy. And then over the years, just working together, we'd have lunch and coffee and hang out. And then, you know, eventually he went to MythBusters. And then eventually I left Lucasfilm, and I started this company called Revision 3. And they were a company that had just gotten bought by Discovery Channel, which owned MythBusters. So I asked Grant, you know, what should I do? Because like they look at me like an outsider, and I want to do something that blows their mind. And he's like, why don't we do a collab? I said, I got the perfect thing. So there's a music video called Gangnam Style. So I said, hey Grant, why don't we reenact Gangnam Style? But you're the lead singer. You're in like a 3-piece tuxedo suit, and it's your welcome of Revision 3 to Discovery Channel. And you want to do it in style. So why don't we just have you dressed up, and you can do a dance all throughout the office. You can get a lot of our talent who are on-air talent and some of the camera guys and whatever to dance with you. And he's like, yeah, okay. Like, didn't even see, this is why I love Grant. He had like a brilliant mind, but he had a comedy brain too. So, you know, he left such a positive mark on people, and did so many cool things for fans of Star Wars, MythBusters, robotics in general, sci-fi in general. He was a huge Doctor Who fan, so he loved dressing up like a Time Lord. Yeah, he was kind of the embodiment of fandom, of all the positiveness of what you can do when you're a geek and you're a nerd and you love stuff. Happy birthday, Grant. I miss you every day. You were such a funny, awesome, talented friend. And I'm so glad that we got to hang out at ILM and Lucasfilm when I worked at Lucasfilm. And thank you for being in all my wacky videos. I miss you every day. Thank you for being such a great influence on all of us in the geek community.
Oh my God, that's so sweet.
He loved his cosplay so much. And I remember that Gangnam Style video.
Oh my God, that thing was
hilarious.
Yeah.
I mean, we definitely have to link to that somewhere so people can watch that. Google it right now if you guys are just listening to this podcast, because he went full on. Like, there's like wind machines and stuff. Like, it was his best day. It was so fun.
Okay, so coming up next is one of our favorite producers and greatest friend, Linda Wilkovich. She's going to be telling her memories of Grant.
One of my favorite memories of Grant is when we were working together at the model shop, and it must have been in the late 90s. And at that time, Grant every day wore a white lab coat. He was an early adopter of the lab coat and was just always super positive and wonderful. And during this period of time, it was a really fun time to be in the model shop. One of the special things about the model shop is they had these secret parties, and they were the superhero parties. And it wasn't just come as the Flash or come as Superman. You actually had to create your own superhero, create your own backstory, and then execute a costume. And it wasn't just showing up in a costume. You had to have a shtick, and it had to work. And the competition was high, and you never wanted to disappoint your peers. I really wanted to participate big time. And I could come up with concepts, but executing them was a whole nother thing. And Grant, who was always so generous with information and his skills and wanting to facilitate other people's ideas, and he really got joy in that. So for the superhero party, one year, my idea was to go as a roller derby superhero called 8-Ball. The 8-Ball, her superpower was that she could tell your fortune. I put together this roller derby type outfit and cut up a lot of magic 8-balls to make like knee pads and elbow pads and whatnot, but I really wanted something that would light up and be dynamic. And that's where Grant came in with his special skills. And so for my 8-Ball costume, the best part of it ever, and I still have it, was this bra part of the costume, which is this. And you can see that the magic 8-balls were put into the cups. It's hard to tell because it's dark, but one says yep and one says nope. And then there are these arm triggers that ran down my sleeves. And so someone could come and ask me a question, but I could light up the side that was either affirmative or negative with these triggers that were slipped into the palms of my hands. And so that year and other years, I felt so worthy of being there because of Grant's help. And this was his free time that he spent with me. And I just felt really just overjoyed to be there and proud of my costume and so grateful for the help. And one year he was super absorbent man, and he made his costume out of all things absorbent. One year he was shop vac man and made a whole costume out of a shop vac.
God, yeah.
And Tory was there as well. And one year he went as the jester of pain. There's no way I would have felt worthy of being there if it weren't for Grant's help. And I know a lot of other people in the world are so grateful for Grant's help in everything, in all sorts of different things. And whether it's be from inspiration or his hands-on training with them, he just was so generous with information. I just feel really lucky to have known him and to benefited from his expertise with which he was so generous with. Happy birthday, Grant. I love you. You have been such a really important part of my life and helping me see how things that at one point seemed impossible could be possible, and really figure out solutions that I never would have thought of before. And just your creative mind and your creative problem solving were always and always will be inspirational.
Oh, man.
Wow. Oh, that's so sweet.
Granty should have patented that bra, because if you were going out into the world dating and you had one boob that said yep and one that said nope, it would just like cut through some BS. Like, you know, they'd give you a pickup line and you'd go, nope.
Can I buy you a drink? Yep.
Yep.
That is
I feel like that is the next. Maybe we should just like patent that, and then all the money can go towards his foundation. We'll put that on the MythFits store. How about that?
Man, those superhero parties were the best. Like, it seriously was like some of the best times in our, in my young adult life, where you just had all these like-minded people who were just like super artistic, super weird. And it was all to promote our friend's comic book company. But yeah, oh my God, I forgot about Shop Vac Man. Oh, it was so. And then he and Fawn Davis, he's a model maker and one of Grant's closest friends. I think they came as yin and yang one year, and they were like these two kung fu fighters, and they had shields that when they put them together, they created the yin and yang. Next up is our old bomb tech. He actually had him on the podcast, JD Nelson, and he has some fun things to say about Grant.
I frequently get asked about being on the show MythBusters, and then one of the main questions I'm ever asked is, what are they really like? And I always tell people they're exactly as they appeared on the show. They really are. It was not an act. The two main stars, Adam and Jamie, were as were Tory, Kari, and Grant. To that, Grant was a very interesting guy, and he always asked about my family. I asked about how things are going in his life. Grant was truly as advertised. He loved robots, and my favorite thing about Grant is, because I am not a technology guy at all, one of the main careers for robotics was in the bomb squad. The bomb squads had robots way before anybody else. And so we used them quite frequently on our missions. And I was just not that good at it. And I didn't understand the nomenclature, all the parts and what makes it. But Grant, when he would see these things, because we bring him up to the bomb range, and we used one, I'm sure on one episode, and he was like, "Oh my God, this is amazing!" And he was like, "Well, what's going on with this, JD? What's going on?" I'm like, "I don't know, Grant. You know way more about robots than I will ever know." And that really always stuck out with me. Is every time we'd have a chance to use a robot, he was all over it, and he could run it better than I could. Without question, he could run it better than I could. That's what I really remember about Grant. I'll tell you one other thing. This is a true fact here, and let me grab my phone. I still have his number in my phone. I won't delete it. I refuse to.
Oh, man.
I refuse to delete it. Happy birthday, Grant. We miss you.
A lot of people say that. I had a voicemail from Grant that I hadn't listened to. And
no way.
He passed, and I didn't listen to it for a very, very, very long time. And it was about some, we were trying to pull something together. We were going to get together. It was just like, it was a very mundane message, but I was like, I don't even want to hear this right now. It took a while, but then when I was finally ready and listened to it, it was just, my heart swelled. I was like,
oh, you still have it?
No, the phone switched. Everything's got erased, but I don't have it anymore. But, it was, I still think of him often, especially every time we get on this podcast. Like, he's with us. I've got his bobblehead behind me he's always between us.
Yeah.
I have so many fond memories of that kid.
Yeah. That kid, he was older than you.
I know. We're kids.
Yeah.
So I had chronic sleep issues my entire life. And I tried everything from like sleeping pills to going to a sleep lab. And the simplest thing ended up being the answer. It was all in my blood. I did some blood work and found out that my iron was really, really low and I was practically anemic. And it was triggering so many health problems. And it was such a simple answer. It was just in the data. That's one thing I learned on MythBusters, is that I love doing experiments, and my body is just a place to collect more data. So I got really excited when I heard that we were going to be working with Function Health. All right, so these tests can detect imbalances early, and you can take action with confidence, empower you to do your own health with real data. They can test for over 100 biomarkers tracked in one secure place over time. Tests that were accessed via Function include markers for heart health, inflammation, stress, hormones, and like so much more. Learn more and join using our link. Function is a near 360 view to see what's happening in your body. And our first 1,000 listeners get $100 credit towards their membership. Visit www.functionhealth.com/MythFits or use gift code MythFits100 at sign up to your own health. Again, that's www.functionhealth.com/MythFits with code MythFits100 for a $100 credit. All right, Tori.
Yes.
Next up, so you know how Jamie refuses to be on camera like ever again?
And he's refused to be on our podcast.
I know he does it for his lecturing in Finland, but like I was like, I figure like this is the Grant episode. I got to get something from him. So this is what I got from Jamie. No,
Okay.
It's not a video.
What is?
Hi, Kari. I got your text responding here because it's a lot to write on a thumb text. I won't do a video clip, and thank you for not pressuring me about it. But you can read this on your podcast as from me, with best regards to your audience. Maybe it'll add a little variety to you and Tori, that you can do the Jamie mustache mimicking thing with your hand hanging down over your mouth for a laugh.
He actually put that in his letter?
He did because
So, Kari, I don't want to do your podcast. I know I owe you one, but I'm not going to do it anyway.
So I just, I want to put that out there. This is a fully sanctioned Jamie impersonation, which I believe Grant did the best. And he may have been the originator of the Jamie mustache finger fling. I don't know what to call this. Right?
The hairbrush.
I'm not going to do it while I read, even though I'm allowed to, because I think it messes up my voice on the microphone.
I love how he tells you, like he explains it. You could do the Jamie thing with your hands over your mouth. Yeah, we know how to do the Jamie thing. But thanks for
doing it for years.
Thanks for explaining it to us, Jamie. Oh, he's always thorough like that. I appreciate it. All right, go ahead.
I can't do the impersonation as good as Grant.
All right, let's hear it. Let's hear it.
So I'm going to try. Aw. So here's a little story. Commentary about Grant for you and Tory to read. I think this will be better than me doing it, mustache hand. The reader can start each paragraph with mustache hand. Maybe you can take turns being me. Funny, right? It's a little kind story. It's a little heartwarming.
Oh my God, that is so funny. Jamie.
So Jamie, I considered Grant a friend. Can I? Maybe let me just. I can't do it the whole time. I'm just going to read this.
Go ahead and read it. Yeah, that's probably better.
Terrible at the impersonation. Okay, I considered Grant a friend, although we didn't really hang out or anything. Like with Adam, you and Tory, I'm not sure I've ever had dinner alone with any of you. That is not true, by the way. I've had dinner with Jamie. And Adam, well, it's known that it's something we actively avoided doing. With you two and Grant, I think it just never really came up. And on the occasion that we wanted to share a meal, it seemed to go along with having other people there. We worked together and friendly, and that was enough. This is so Jamie.
Wow.
As it happens, though, I've actually spent a lot more time working with Grant than any of you, with the exception of Adam. And it first happened at ILM doing a side gig for 2 or some commercials involving puppets. Grant was one of the people that put the Energizer Bunny puppet together, mainly as far as the electronics in it. I was brought in as a ringer, given that my company, M5, did a lot of puppets. We would not have been around long enough to get as far as having a crack at MythBusters, if not for the puppets. All right, guys, this is a pretty long letter. Let's speed this up. Being on set with Grant, setting up and maintaining the puppets was where I really came to appreciate him. He was always very alert and ready to jump into action, problem solving and fixing things that came up, which is what you need on set and under pressure. Grant was on it. So I made sure if I ever had any work that was tricky on set, whether puppets or other problematic devices, and in particular with electronics, like complicated radio controls, I'd instantly bring in Grant if he was available. And that was the main reason I recommended him to be brought on to MythBusters. One thing about Grant in the environment that I really appreciated was that Grant was, as a rule, steady as a rock with good humor and determination. As you all know from MythBusters, there can be a lot of pressure when you've been putting in a lot of hours pulling together an experiment on location and we are tired. And that's often just when something breaks and something bad happens. So having somebody like Grant who has your back and is always ready with a smile, willing and capable of chipping in without having to ask, is solid gold. In those situations, it's all too easy to get cranky, and I really appreciate it when somebody digs in to solve the problem and help instead of losing their shit. Best friends?
Like me.
Not really. But wait, let me do this in the Jamie voice. Best friends? Not really. There was too much intonation. Hold on. Best friends? Not really. But
good.
Very friendly and supportive, yes. And a hell of a lot of respect.
That is best friends? Not really.
Not really.
You got to give it to Jamie. There's no like he doesn't. There's no like lie in him. There's no deception. He will tell you like it is. If he doesn't like you, you'll know it. He'll let you know.
The best possible compliment you can get from him is respect. He respects you. You can take that as a huge compliment. Like right there. That is rock solid Jamie appreciation. So that is a very long letter, and I hope we can edit that down, or at least do that thing they do on TikTok where they speed up your voice till it gets to the part where it's about Grant.
What a sweet thing for him to do. I mean, that, the words of his words about Grant, that rings true. And that I mean, such a nice thing to hear from Jamie, that he does have a heart, a little.
Yeah,
tiny,
they had a special
tiny
relationship too, because they both had like a similar way of just everything was gears and electronics. They'd look down at problems and they were just, they'd solve them in almost a math way, they'd figure things out. And I think that they both really communed on that kind of level. Okay, so to end this beautiful tribute to Grant, something special. I've had the chance to work with the Grant Imahara STEAM Foundation a few times on some really awesome projects. They are big supporters of the National STEM Festival. And when they got involved, I would hide little Easter eggs of Grant in the festival. Like, we put up all of these TV screens that the kids would mess with because they'd never seen those big box TVs, and they thought it was the coolest thing in the world. And one of the videos was just running of Grant working at ILM that the foundation sent to me as the little Easter egg as part of the look. He's part of this. They show up at every festival with Legos to build little robots. And it's just the most beautiful way to honor Grant and how much he loved kids and how much he loved inspiring STEM and engineering. And so we have somebody representing the foundation who was also a really good friend of his to explain a little more.
My name is Kim Horcher. I am a host and journalist and very close friend of Grant. I also work in the Grant Imahara STEAM Foundation, along with his other friends and colleagues. So I have so many memories of Grant over our long friendship. I'm going to probably go with the one that I told at his memorial when I was a speaker in 2020. We decided to go with a group of friends to Las Vegas. And it was kind of last minute and kind of cobbled together, but that's not the only time Grant was like, yeah, let's do this. Let's make this happen. We were in a parking garage trying to get out, and there were maybe 4 or 5 different streams of traffic running against each other, and we just weren't moving. We weren't moving for 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 20 minutes. He felt like, okay, this is ridiculous. No one understands what to do. Everyone is just being selfish and discordant. I can't take this anymore. So he hops out of the car and he runs out to the middle and he holds out his hand like this, stop, to the cars. And then he directs the other cars and tells them to stop. So he just started directing traffic in the middle of this really busy square.
That's
I
crazy.
thought, I wonder if anyone knows that's the MythBusters guy. I think he was not liking how disorganized and unfair it was, and he decided someone needed to take matters into his own hands, and that was Grant. I'll always remember that. So when Grant died, a lot of us were, of course, shocked and saddened, but we wanted to know, what do we do? What can we do that's practical, that helps? So a lot of Grant's close family and friends and colleagues decided to form the Grant Imahara STEAM Foundation. STEAM stands for Science, Technology, Engineering, Art, and Math. This was founded by Grant's mother, Carolyn, and continues on with the generous help of Grant's friends like Kari. And this is a way to get kids excited about careers in STEAM and showing how you don't need a lot of fancy equipment to start a career in any of these fields. So there are several free programs under this. There is STEAM Star, which teaches standards-aligned lessons and in TikTok style videos, because that's the way people like to receive them, from people who have amazing, cool jobs in STEAM. And there's also Robo battles, which we know Grant liked robots, but this is about building robots, programming them, going through different themed RPG style adventures. And you fight them. They fight. Sometimes they explode. And again, this is free. This is accessible to any kid. And there's also modules for parents and teachers if you are one too. So if you're interested in making a contribution to help get kids connected to STEAM and to help support Grant's legacy, you can make a tax-deductible donation today at grantimaharafoundation.org. And you can follow us on social media at Grant Imahara Foundation. Happy birthday, Grant. We love you, we miss you, and we still celebrate you in many ways.
I know these videos are all like happy, but like I started crying because
I know it's still hard to believe that he's gone.
Yeah, and just thinking about the impact he had on the world.
Yeah,
I can't tell you how many little kids came up to us that were like, I look like you, I feel like you, and I want to be you because I saw you do it. It felt possible, and like the fact that they created this foundation that continues that legacy was so beautiful. And I remember we were at his memorial and I just started laughing because I was like, God, this is so messed up because this is like the best party that Grant would want.
Yeah.
Like right here, like he would love this party. That like everybody loved him so much.
Yeah. And it's sad where it's like any memorial, you're just like the person that should be here hearing all these amazing things about them isn't, and they're gone. So it's like, why don't we do that while they're alive? My dad has this thing. He gives people that he loves their memorial before they die. And it's this really sweet thing. And it's like, you just sit them down and you just pretend like they're at the memorial and you tell them how important they are to you. But I love how everybody is like, Grant loved robots. Boy, did he. There's
some themes. Grant 1.0, everybody knew 1.0 versus 2.0. I believe he had one girlfriend that, do you remember he had one, like he started dating this one girl that all of a sudden like Grant got like a makeover. And I think they went to Vegas a lot. And I think he got an entire new wardrobe from Vegas because he had a lot of like suit jackets that were kind of shiny.
He looked like a magician.
Yeah, he definitely, he changed his look and like, I think she helped him like cool out his hair and stuff. Oh man.
But then he toned that back because he went full magician. And then I remember the first time we did Craig Ferguson's show, he was like full, like he had just got back from Vegas with this crazy outfit. But it's interesting. We became really good friends with Craig Ferguson, and Grant actually built Jeffrey, the robot, his sidekick robot, on the Late Late Show. And that was always like a cool, like anytime we'd go to the show and we'd see the robot, it was like, there's Granty's creation.
He's got legacy all over the place. Like the STEM Festival forever is going to have like a little piece that's Grant. Because I always thought, God, Grant should be the one that's here. He should be one of the STEM ambassadors. Like this was his jam. It's kids, it's science. Like, man, he would love this. So I'm always going to bury a couple Easter eggs in every single STEM festival.
That's cool. Well, you guys, thank you so much for joining us on this special podcast. Happy birthday, Grant. We miss you.
Happy birthday, Grant. We love you. We miss you. And the best way to honor him, go check out the Grant Imahara STEAM Foundation and help support the next generation of little Grant Imaharas.
All right, Kari, I think that's it for us.
I don't think I can take anymore.
Oh,
love that kid. All right, guys, that's it.
We'll see you next time.
Stay weird. MythFits out.
Pioneer.